So I cooked my husband some fish and shrimp this morning and just rested. Cooked some, just shrimp and grits. And may fry some chicken later, but he and I, we were just kind of lazy. He's still just chilling. I think he upstairs looking at a movie or on his laptop or something. And I'm just down here in my office. And I told him, I said, well, let me get on live and see if anybody gets on here, because I know it's Father's Day and people are probably still hanging. Twist out flex rod sets. I do sister lock, reties, micro locks, lock extensions. I mean, I've been in the hair industry so long, I pretty much do a plethora of things. So just doing it all. Hold on one second. Trying to open my office door so maybe it won't be so much of an echo in here. But this whole setup, I'm trying to take my lives and any kind of like videos or any kind of thing that I'm doing, I'm trying to take it to the next level. So these little hearts you see, that's already one of the filters on Instagram, but the colors that you see, the background and all of that, these are just lights. Different color lights. I have this whole light set that you can change the color. I have this little clip-on ring light. Woo. So this is just a ring light that you can clip it on. Turn it off, on, as bright as you want. So I got these little $5 little knockoff glasses on. And so whenever you're dealing with light, you don't want to have the light shining right in your face, because then the glare will be right in the glasses. So I'm trying to avoid the glare. So, usually when you're doing all the ring lights and stuff like that. Thanks for joining. I'm hoping some more of you guys get on here. I'm just rambling right now. Just started the live. I know that it's Father's Day today, so didn't know who will be getting on here. I'm sorry, you guys. My sinuses, they just kind of been draining. So I don't have that happen often. So like I can be talking and I can just feel draining in my throat. So my sinus has been kind of draining. So I already have this really nasally voice. So I'm already kind of a little congested. So sorry about that. But I hope you guys like how this setup look. I'm trying to take it to another level for you guys. And like I was saying a minute ago, usually when I come on my lives, it may be on a weekday, real early in the morning when I'm heading to work, when I'm driving to work. I may get on a live and just try to encourage people as I'm driving to work. So that may be like 8:30. Look at these nails. So it may be like 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock, something like that. But usually before 9. Because usually on a weekday, I start at 10. So usually on a weekday, I'll take my first client at 10 o'clock. Doing hair. So I'll start, usually get to work maybe an hour, 45 minutes at the latest before my client arrives. Because I personally don't like to arrive like right before the client, or I don't like to arrive, walk in the door with the client. I don't like doing anything like that. I'm so very type A. And then with us being in the midst of a pandemic still, of course we have a lot of herd immunity, but still, I still be cautious. I still require my clients to wear masks. I still do a lot of sanitizing. I sanitize, wipe down the chairs, shampoo bowl, everything. So I like to arrive maybe an hour or 45 minutes before the client is supposed to get there, just so I can get to work, and see if anything may need cleaning. Sometimes I soak my combs and disinfectant and stuff like that. So I'll get there early and do that, or may put some towels in the dryer or in the washer or whatever. So basically that's just it. So today like I was telling her earlier, my husband and I, we just rested. So I'm at home right now. We had a storefront for 13 years. And our lease expired February 2020, a month before COVID. And so my office, I still have some boxes in here. You can't see the boxes, but it's pretty neat in here other than that. But since I'm going to be doing a lot of lives from in my office, I want to get some stuff in the background. Just get my office set up, because my whole thing on my lives, usually if you come on here, you're going to hear me saying stuff, trying to encourage people, trying to motivate people. Every now and then you may come on here and I'm actually doing somebody's hair, or I'm doing some braids. The other day I just did a live. I did an amino acid treatment. So it just depends on, when somebody hops on. Like today, I'm just here at home. I usually don't do lives from my house, so I'm just starting to do that. And then I usually don't do lives this late, so I don't know. And then it's a holiday too, so. But just been, getting on here every once in a while and just trying to say things to encourage people. So I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm using a different microphone, not the one that comes with the phone. An auxiliary microphone. It's brand new. I'm trying it out. So I hope you guys can hear me pretty well on it. I know you hear all the congestion, of course. And I got to go to the dentist in the morning to get my teeth cleaned. So that's mouth wide open and trying to breathe. So wish me luck. So usually, like I said, I come on here and I just try to encourage people. Like this quote I saw, a lot of times you see very inspirational quotes on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and, other places. Just trying to encourage people. I always try to do that. And then, like one quote I saw today was, what'll happen if you remove yourself from the life of somebody who blames you for every single thing that goes wrong in their life? What will happen if you remove yourself from the life of a person that blames you for everything that goes wrong in their life? What happens when you do that? So in my opinion, what happens is you find peace. You actually gain your peace back. You actually grab your peace back. I mean, it's just that simple. Because sometimes things will happen in people's life and they just don't want to be accountable. This is just the day and times that we're in, where it's so much easier now for people to blame other people for what happened in their past, or why they having a bad day, or what happened last week, or what happened 5 years ago, or what even happened before they even knew you. So we're in the world right now where, in my opinion, people don't really want to be accountable for their actions. For some reason, it's really hard to find people who are willing to be accountable for their actions and for their own behavior. So again, it could be something that happened before you even knew them, but they seem to be angry with you. They seem to blame you. It's your fault. that this happened, it's your fault, that happened. So it just amazes me. And so we have total control of that because we can remove ourselves from that. You know, we don't have to allow ourselves. We don't have to allow ourselves to be really abused in that way. It's really a form of abuse. And sometimes we'll hold on to people who are our friends, or maybe our acquaintances, or maybe like, you know, we consider them like family, you know, but they really are not family, but we consider them family. And sometimes people will take advantage of you like none other. Like I have this one client, she's a new client. I think she's like 22. So I was just doing her hair maybe a couple weeks ago. And sorry if I have to keep drinking water. I told you guys I'm very congested. So I just did her hair a couple weeks ago, and she was my first client. She actually came in, I think, at 8:30. That's early. It was on a weekday at 8:30. So I'm noticing that, you know, I'm about to do some braids on her, and I'm noticing that somebody's just blowing her up. Like her phone is just being blown up. Like somebody's texting her, texting. And I'm kind of surprised because it's really early in the morning. It's like 8:30. And she's young. I think she's like 21, 22. So in my head, and let me just go and give y'all some full disclosure. I'll be 60 years old on August 31st. So that's like a couple of months. I'll be 60. So in my opinion, it's like really early. And so I'm thinking that people at that young age be asleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking they, you know, out of school. Because, you know, colleges are out, high schools are out, the schools are out. They are somebody blowing her up. So I'm thinking, okay, somebody blowing her up. But she's only been to me maybe 3 times. So I didn't want to really say anything, but I just thought it was kind of odd. So then she ended up letting me know that it was a friend of hers brother that was blowing her up because his sister, which is her friend, never came home last night. Never came home that night. The previous night. Never came home. So her family didn't know where she was because she never came home that night. So her friend's brother was blowing her up early in the morning trying to see if she knew where she was, where his sister was. Well, she didn't know where she was. She's at the salon in my chair, you know, and I'm about to do her hair, her braids, and she has no clue where his sister is. So he just texting, and so when she ended up telling me what it was, I was like, oh my God. So she was telling me about it and how the girl is and all of that. And she was telling me about other friends that she has. So in my older brain, I kind of took it and received it as, to me, it seems like everybody's kind of using her as a scapegoat or using her as a blanket or using her as somebody to just pour out everything on, you know. They just download on her, you know. And so she was telling me all this stuff, and this friend tells her this, and the other one tells her that, and, you know, it was just a lot. And she's young to be taking on all of that, you know, from somebody else. So, and she just has this spirit, I could tell, where, you know, she just allows people to dump on her and allows people to download on her. And when we're young, you know, as women, you know, we always want to help one another, and that's great. But to a certain extent, you know, because whatever you allow when you're young that ends up creating your behavior. And so when you end up getting older, then you have this behavior and you have this personality where you will allow people to just download everything on you. Like when they mad, they call you or text you and they just blowing you up and they take it out on you, or whenever they got this going on, they just download it all on you. Well, when you're young and you love people and you're compassionate, like I can tell that she is, then you don't even realize that people are dumping stuff on you and they're downloading all of their energy onto you, instead of them going to their parents or talking to a family member or talking to whomever they need to talk to that will help them, a family member or something. They're downloading all of this on her. And when we're young, we can feel like, oh, we helping my friend, or I'm helping my friend out, or you're helping your friend out. But as we are young and we start developing into women, we are teaching people how to treat us. So when we have this, when we innately we have this personality where we allow people to do that to us, then it ends up becoming a part of who we are. Because when we're young, we're developing, we're nurturing, we're turning into the woman that we will one day be. And at my age that I just told you guys that I am still learning about myself. Like, I used to be that person too. So that's why I can definitely see it a mile away. And so what we don't realize is we think we helping out this friend and we helping out that friend and this friend and that girl and this person. And we trying to save the world. But at the end of the day, we're just taking, because whenever they have stuff and they download it onto you, now you have it. Now it's in your heart. Now it's in your spirit. Now it's in your soul. And now you're going to think about it. I mean, it's human nature. You can't help it. You're going to be thinking about it. And then what happens is it causes stress. And then when you're 21, you're 22, you're not thinking about stress. You don't even know how stress feels. So you could be having all this stress and your blood pressure may be high and you are none the wiser. Like, you will be the last to know. Because you're young and you're 20, 21, 22, 25, whatever age that you are. And you just thinking you helping out friends. You just trying to help a friend out. You just trying to be a BFF. You're not even realizing that taking on all these people burdens and taking on all these people problems and being like the scapegoat and being like the one that everybody downloads on, that's going to affect you. And then that stress will affect your health. It'll affect your health and it'll make your blood pressure high. And then you'll start having symptoms from that. And then when you have stress, it'll affect your hair and it'll start making your hair come out. And she does have really short places in her head where her hair is probably this long. And I already knew it was stress the first time she came to me. Because you that young, but you got areas that this short in your head. So I don't think she ever thought about that. And so I came from behind the chair and I stood in front of her and I just looked her eye to eye. And I told her, I said, this energy that you have is similar to mine that I had when I was young. I said, we can't save the world. We can't take on everybody's burdens. We can't take on what everybody else got going on. We just can't do it. Because it'll cause stress, anxiety, It'll cause you to be overwhelmed. And she's in college. I think she's like her second year in college or something. Like, you taking on all that. I mean, they blowing you up at 8:30 in the morning. You can't even get your hair done because people blowing you up. It was stressful for me to have to see somebody just blowing her up through the text messages, and she's supposed to be relaxing at a hair appointment. And when we're young, we're not thinking about that. We thinking, oh, I'm helping my friend. You know, I really care about her. I'm helping her. You can help her, but she got to help herself. Excuse me, you guys. She got to help herself. So, she's only, like I said, been to me twice when I was telling her that. So I kind of came on strong, like not in a mean way, but just in a direct, tactful way. Because I could tell that her spirit was heavy. And then I'm looking at her hair and I see the results of the stress. Because she that young and you got hair loss like that, to that extreme. I can't hardly grip your hair because it's too short in a lot of areas. You guys, I don't know why it's saying reconnecting. Hold on 1 second. Let me check something. Because I don't want it to just crash. Hold on. Yeah, thank y'all. I don't know why it's doing that because I'm at home and we got good internet service. As a matter of fact, my husband worked for AT&T. So you guys, I was like, I just went, around the chair, and I went up kind of eye to eye, looked her in the eye and was, just concerned for her. And just telling her, happy Sunday. Just telling her. Thanks for joining. So, I was just telling her that, and then she ended up texting me today and telling me, thank you so much, she said. She said, thank you so much. Because like I said, when you're young, you're not thinking about that. You're just trying to be a friend. You're just trying to, hold on, you guys. My husband in the kitchen making noise. And they're trying to eat chips. So you guys, yeah. When you're young, you're not thinking about that. You're just trying to be a friend to a friend. But at the same time, whatever habits that you form and create when you're young, that becomes who you are when you get older. That becomes your behavior when you get older. So if you try to be there for everybody and you let everybody make you a stepping stone, and everybody makes you the person who they download everything on when they're mad and angry and upset, and their boyfriend made them mad, or this person, or they ain't got the money for that. You just let them download everything on you. When you allow that stuff when you're young, it ends up being the same woman that you become when you're older. You will end up with that same behavior where everybody comes to you and download everything on you, and they bring all of their stuff to you, and they come to you, they call you, they text you. I mean, even, her brother was blowing her up. And so at the time, when you're young, you're not thinking about, okay, this is causing me stress. Okay, then the stress is going to cause me hair loss. You're not even thinking about that because you're young. you don't even know what stress feels like. But I'm older, like I told y'all, I'll be 60 in 2 months in August 31st. And as you get older, you know, as women, we develop, we emerge, you know, we become who we are day by day. As you get, it's so much now, and I'm still learning. But it's so much about myself that I have learned at this age, and as I continue to get older, and at this older age, at the age of 59 that I am now, I have learned more about myself and made more wiser decisions concerning myself than ever at any age of my life. Ever, I promise. So that's why when I was young, I never wanted to get married at a young age, because and to each his own, but for me, I didn't. We evolve and we learn more about who we are day by day. Like whatever you tolerate when you're young, you're not really going to tolerate that when you get older. Because at some point you start learning who you are as a woman and who you are as a person and what you will allow and what you don't allow. And now we have social media. So social media is you always seeing all these quotes and all of these posts. And so when you see all this, it's kind of encouraging and empowering, because a lot of the quotes, you know, they be positive quotes, inspirational quotes. And when I say inspirational, I don't mean just biblical or spiritual, but I'm saying it may say something as simple as, you know, take your power back, you know, and that may just be the quote or what you needed to hear for that day, because that's something that you know that you need to get stronger in that area. So with her being so young, I think she's like 21, 22, she wasn't thinking in those terms. She just allowing people to just blow her up at 8:30 in the morning, and you trying to get your hair done. And I don't think she really realized that just causes stress. When you're young, you ain't thinking about stress. And then you get older and you on all this high blood pressure medication, all of this medication to try to get your stress down, because you have evolved into this person who allows people to just download everything onto you. It's okay. Even, you know, the energy of people. Like I have people or acquaintances who, you know, I don't really hear, because I mean, I love people. I love people. But I've always been very particular about who I call a friend. Because a person who is a friend, they not going to go days and weeks and months and all of this and not hear from you. They not going to do that. They not going to be concerned about whether you call them or they call you. They're not going to care. Again, y'all, my sinuses are draining. They're not going to care. Like a real friend, somebody who is a friend, like the Bible say, a friend is a covenant word. Friend means it's a covenant. So a person that considers themselves your friend, they're not going to go days, weeks, months, and all of this time, and you don't hear from them. They're not going to be waiting on you to call them. If they don't hear from you, they're going to call you. They ain't going to be caught up in who called who first, or, oh, girl, you ain't called me. You know, it ain't going to be none of that little petty stuff. Like one of my clients and I, we have deep conversations whenever she come and get her hair done. Deep conversations. And so one thing we always say, when she said it to me, she heard this quote somewhere. I don't know where she heard it from, but I love it. And the quote is, that petty runs deep. Petty runs deep. That petty runs deep. Petty runs deep. Just meaning childish behavior. That thing run deep. Like folks will run with that. They'll run on to their grave being petty and acting silly and childish and be 50 years old. Petty runs deep. Petty runs deep. So like I'm really, really particular about who I call a friend, because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you may be friends with somebody and sometimes they may be that person who will call you. Or sometimes they are keeping that covenant word called friend. They are being that to you. But at some point, you know, when that season is up, because in the spiritual realm, God calls it seasons. So when that season is up, they out. They'll start changing and the friendship will start shifting. And like God told me one time, stop apologizing to people who you have not wronged. Like, do not apologize to somebody who you have not even done anything wrong to. That used to be me. And so people who know me, they don't even know me now because I'm not even that same person no more. Because we evolve as women, as people, as humans, especially as women. We evolve. We change, we grow, we mature. We become more authentic. We become more of who we are, who God is creating us to be. And then sometimes we don't even need no quote. We just know we're not going to allow certain things that we used to allow when we was 20, or allow when we was 30, or allow when we was 35. Like I told myself, I will not turn 60. I will not turn 60 in 2 months and then allow people to be so disrespectful. It don't matter who it is, whether it's a family member, a friend, a client. You as a woman, we have to make up our mind and set in ourselves, in our heart, that we will not allow people to just disrespect us. Me at the age of 60, you think I'm gonna allow people to just disrespect me? And I allowed it for many years, you guys. I promise. I allowed it for years. I was the one who would apologize to people who ain't even done nothing wrong to them. And God told me, look, stop apologizing to people who you have done nothing wrong to. Because what happens is, when you apologize to them and you haven't done nothing wrong to them, they've done something wrong to you, but you're apologizing to them. What that is that's just you apologizing to them so that you can keep them in your life. You doing that so that you can keep them in your life. But the reason it's even happening is because God is trying to move them out of your life. He's trying to move them. But you get in his way. He can't move them, because every time they do something wrong to you and they owe you an apology and they don't give it to you, you apologize to them. Don't do it. Because when you do that, You're allowing people to remain in your life who God is trying to move out of your life. The season with that friendship is over. The season, the time of the friendship is over. It's over, you guys. Don't apologize. So I'm telling y'all that because that's what God told me. Because I used to do that. So normally people who, in my opinion, I think people that will do stuff like that is people who have been rejected before. You've been rejected, so you don't want to lose friends, or you don't want to be without a friend, or you feel like, oh, I don't want to go it alone, or whatever. Sometimes it's more peace to be alone. Like all my husband and I did today, like my father is deceased. So I posted a picture of him on my social media. And you guys can look on there and see. But all my husband and I did today was relax. Like sometimes you just need to relax. Just rest. Just have peace, a peaceful day. I know when I was young, I always had a car, and I got a car at a young age. My dad bought me. So I know by the time 12 o'clock hit on a Saturday, I was trying to be going somewhere. And I was not a wilding out type of person. I didn't wild out or anything like that. That wasn't me. But I just used to like to be out with my friends, riding around, or, I maybe had one or two friends. I didn't hang around a lot of people that wasn't me. But at some point in your life, you ain't always got to be out doing stuff, or always got to be linked up with somebody that you call a friend. Because I don't think people take that word as seriously as they used to. Like the word friend. Like, are people really trying to be friends now? Or are people really trying to be there for one another anymore? And then as soon as they feel like you've gone to a level higher than they feel that you deserve, or a level higher than they have gone, I don't understand. I'm at home and this thing keeps saying poor connection. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me check something. Okay, let's see if it gets better. It keeps saying reconnecting, which I'm shocked. Because I usually don't do lives from home, but I'm going to start doing them. So my office, like I was saying earlier, I'm trying to get it all set up. I'm trying to get the lighting set up. I want to keep the lighting like it is, like this, because to me, this whole lighting and setup is really calming. But I didn't know my nails was going to be glowing in the dark. 60 years old almost. And got some glow-in-the-dark nails. Y'all pray for me. So we'll see if the internet... I took it off the house internet and just letting it go through the cell phone. So we'll see if it works better. But yeah, you guys, people be doing the most. So you have to, I know you guys are younger than me, so you got to be wise about who you call friend. Because a friend is somebody that will know a lot about you. You'll disclose a lot to them. And then you'll feel some type of way when y'all stop being friends because you done told them a lot. You've shared a lot of your information with them, and people just change, Like I said, we all evolve. And I'm just to the point in my life where I'm not chasing, because God be revealing all this stuff to me. He said, don't chase nobody. Don't chase nobody. Now I can open this door back up because he went back upstairs. Yeah, God said don't chase nobody. And that goes for you too. Like, I mean, sometimes, as women, like I said, we evolve. And some people may not be ready for that. But at my age, it's time. Because God just said, just stop. Don't chase nobody. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have a friend or acquaintance or family member or whomever it is, don't chase nobody. Like, if they're shunning you, or they not calling you, or they excluding you, or they, seem like they don't want to be around you, or whatever it is that they're doing, I'm too old. Too old. Too old. And sometimes it ain't even that they trying to be mean or trying to exclude you or trying to be no type of way. A lot of times it just be that the season is over. And then at the age of 60, why I'm worried about if somebody call me, text me, or whatever. I'm not at all. Long as my husband and I are good, and we are, it don't matter who it is. I mean, I've lived my whole life trying to love people, trying to be there for people, supporting people, just doing the most for people. And at this time in my stage and this time of my life, if people seem like they don't want to be bothered, if they don't text and say, "Oh girl, how you doing? How you and your husband doing?" Like, if you are sowing that seed that you don't want to be bothered, that's a seed. Like the Bible say, if you want a friend, you got to show yourself friendly. You got to sow the seed of being friendly. So if you're sowing that seed like you don't want to be bothered, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm too old for that. I'm too old. And it, like I said, it could be nothing. Like, it could even be where they're not even trying to be mean. They're not trying to be funny. They're not trying to be sarcastic. They ain't trying to be doing nothing. It's all about you. You're the one that makes a decision or whether you're going to continue on in a friendship. You'll know in your heart, because one thing God gave a woman, and that's women's intuition. He gave us an intuition. And I'm just too old. Like, if I'm chasing anything, it's God. It's just peace. There's time out for anything else. It's too much going on in the world right now to be worrying about if somebody like you, if somebody gonna call you, if somebody steal your friend, if this, that, and the third. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth losing peace and being stressed and then losing hair. And then, being stressed and under-eating, or being stressed and overeating, whatever the case may be. And at my age, it's all about me and my husband and I. And all about Jesus. As long as I have peace in my home, and long as I continue to be happy working, because as soon as it becomes too much with the work, I'm going to retire. My husband been trying to get me to retire for years when I had the storefront. You owe that to yourself. Like, we as women, we owe peace to ourselves. We can't find peace in somebody else. You can't find it in a man, in a friend, in your parents, in your family. You got to have peace within. It comes within you. It's based on the decisions you make, what you allow and don't allow. Like, that's why I was explaining to her. She letting her friends be blowing her up and downloading all of their little stuff on her. That's not fair to her. And she don't even see it like that because she young. But I was the same way. So as I'm older, I'm like, wait a minute. You in here getting your hair done. This is your me day. This for you to have some me time. Not for folks' brother to be blowing her up, trying to figure out where his sister at. You already know your sister be wilding out. You already know she probably at some guy house. Like, why you blowing this girl up? She trying to relax. And she just texts him. She just texting him back. He text, she texting. He text, she text. 8:30 in the morning, I'm thinking folk be asleep. Whatever you allow is a seed, and it'll end up becoming the person that you are, because you allow people to do you like that. Then when you get older, you're going to continue on in that same behavior. And if you don't see anything wrong with it now, you're not going to see anything wrong. You're going to get my age and be like, okay, I will not let people disrespect me anymore. Come to that conclusion before you become a senior citizen and getting a discount everywhere, in every restaurant. And about to get Social Security checks and all that. You got to decide, like, you are the one that makes the decision, not the person. You are. You have to determine the boundaries. You have to set boundaries with people. I have to do it in my life. You got to do it in yours. Because whatever you allow is what will continue to happen. People not going to just stop and feel guilty about what they doing to you or how they treating you, or, downloading all their little issues on you, or not calling you and supposed to be your friend, but you ain't heard from them. People will not feel remorseful. They won't feel guilty. This is not the day and time that we living in where people do that. These people are now, they feel like ain't nothing their fault. At all. That's not the day and time that we in. So you have to make that decision for yourself. You have to set the boundaries. And there's nothing mean about it. There's nothing evil about doing that at all. Because if you don't set boundaries, just like if there was no speed limit, if we get on the road, you leave your house and you driving up the street that you live on, if there was no speed limit, then people will just be out of control. Like, people be going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour in the neighborhood, and it's kids walking in schools and all of that. Kids trying to walk across the street, and here comes somebody going 90 miles an hour. If there was no speed limit, which meaning no boundaries, people will be out of control. It's the same with your life. We have to set boundaries in our life. We have to set boundaries with our relationships. When you're dating, you have to set boundaries. Like, one boundary to set, don't date no guy who got a felony record. Let that be one boundary, and then you continue on, because you got to set a standard. If you don't know what boundaries you have, or if you don't set boundaries and standards, then you'll just accept anybody's son or anybody's daughter. Except you got to set boundaries. Do it when you're young. You got to do it when you're young. Because if you wait till you get older, then you're going to be like me, turning 60 years old, talking about, I will not let nobody else disrespect me. I should have been said that when I was 20 or 19. Set your boundaries now. And set them in your heart. You ain't got to tell nobody. Just set them in your heart, Have you a vision board, have your own vision board party by yourself and set your own boundaries. Because when you set boundaries, that's what lets you know, okay, I'm not gonna, date this guy because this, and this. Because he's in non-compliance with the boundary I set. You have to set boundaries in life, in every area of your life. With your finances, with your education, with your behavior, with your relationships, with your jobs, everything, your career. You got to set goals, aspirations, and boundaries. Because if you don't have a boundary, it's like a stop sign. STOP, that big red sign that we see, we know to stop. That's a boundary. Stop. And that's with any aspect of your life, whether it be your finances, your career, your aspirations, your health, even with your weight. Like if you like to eat, snack, whatever you like to do, set a boundary. Because if you don't set the boundary, if you go over the boundary because you haven't set one, then you're going to end up being overweight. Then you're going to be trying to push it back, trying to lose the weight. Don't even worry about having to do all that. If you set the boundary, then you won't be having to push back. You can eat, but you know that you're the person that can't be waking up eating a whole bunch of stuff. You the person that got to wake up and make a smoothie. So you the person that got to wake up and eat some oatmeal, some grits, or something like that. You got to do some juicing. Eat something small for breakfast. And then have like a salad for lunch. And then have a regular dinner. But you got to set the boundary, and you set it while you're young. Don't wait till you get older. Don't be reactive, be proactive. Because if you're reactive and not proactive, you're going to gain a lot of weight, and then you're going to be trying to lose weight. So that affects your body. That affects your health. That can make you end up having high blood pressure, diabetes, all of that. You don't want any of that. I promise you. So you got to set boundaries. Go in the dollar store or go in Five and Below and get you like a little notepad, something like this, or a little diary. Something that you can write in. This one is brand new, so it's blank. Get you something like this at the Dollar Tree or something like that. And you whenever you're alone by yourself, even late at night, even if you can't sleep one night, just pull it out and start writing in there, learning more about you and who you are and what kind of woman or what kind of person you want to be. Because as we evolve as women from younger girls into teens, into 20s, into 30s, into the 40s, you learn and learn and learn and learn and learn more about yourself every day, every year, every 5 years, every so often you learn about you and you evolve. And I'm so proud of myself because I have become so much more stronger than I used to be. But I should be, because look at the age I am. I could have came to this a long time ago, but I went through a lot of trauma as a young person. Went through a lot of trauma and lost my mom at the age of 13. So that'll kind of push you back a little. But you guys can get you a book. like a little diary or a little notepad book. I even have a little bit of small notepad thing, you know, a little small one. You can just throw it in your purse and just have, you know, have conversations with yourself and write down things about yourself and things you want to accomplish. You know, have some kind of goals. It don't matter what age you are. You can start doing that now, like immediately. And those are the things you don't really think about when you're young. A lot of times when you're young, you're trying to find out who you are. You know, you don't know who you are, you know, and then these guys be trying to holler at you, you know, and then, you know, guys, they trying to want you, you know, all of that. So then that gets you off focus when really you need to be focusing on you, on who you are, who you trying to become, what you want to be, what kind of career you want, what kind of money you want to be making, you know, just you. And you start dating guys at a young age, then, you know, you start feeling all these other emotions that you're really not mature enough to handle. And then they know it, so they start taking advantage, you know, all of that. All of that. When your focus should be on your education, on you. Focus on you. Like we have our whole life to meet a guy, fall in love, get married. Like I didn't get married till I was 40. I was proposed to a lot, but did not want to get married young. And to each his own. I'm not telling you guys to be like me, but I'm just saying I knew all the trauma I went through. I needed to heal, and I didn't want to get married because I knew if I probably got married at a young age with all the trauma and all the healing that I needed from the trauma, I probably would have got divorced because I wasn't healed. So you owe that to yourself. There's no hurry to do anything like marriage or any of that. Not a hurry. But the hurry is for you to learn who you are, to focus on you, to learn how to love you, to learn more about you, your likes, your dislikes, and you're not going to know it all right away. Because we evolve as humans, especially women. We evolve. And I'm telling y'all about so much that God has been telling me, and I'm old. I'm older. Like he definitely told me, stop apologizing to people who you have not done anything wrong to. That was like, I was like a rude awakening, like, oh my God, really? When I heard it in my spirit, it made all the sense in the world because I know I be doing that. Thanks for joining. We just on here talking girl talk. Thanks for joining. Whew. Plus, I got these glow-in-the-dark nails, so don't let that freak you out. But yeah, as women, we learn more about ourselves day by day as we get older. We evolve. And so what I was sharing with her, she ended up texting me today saying, thank you so much. Like, she was like, if you were a psychologist, I would want you to be my psychologist. Because I was in the 11th grade saying I wanted to be a psychiatrist. So the first time she came to me and I did her hair, I was talking to her about some things and trying to help her then as well. And so, you know, when you're young, it's just certain things you just don't think about until you start getting older. And so much, you know, life has kind of taken place and life has kind of beat you up in some areas, and you just was naive about some things, and life just took advantage of you in some areas, because as women, we evolve. As humans, we evolve, but especially as women, because we're more compassionate, nurturing, emotional. And so that's why you get this diary. You go to Five Below or the Dollar Tree. You get you one of these and just write your thoughts down sometime. That's how you learn about who you are and who you're becoming. And the more you write stuff down and the more you learn about you, then some guy try to holler at you and you're going to say to yourself, oh, I know I ain't even ready for this. Because you've been sitting down with yourself and being real with yourself and writing it down. You've been writing it and learning about you. And see, as women, we don't do that when we're young. All we want is, when we're young, all we want to be is love. And these little guys, they be knowing that. So they know what to say, they know what to do, they know how to act. Then next thing you know, you caught up and you ain't even wrote in your little book in a year. Because you hanging out with Ray Ray. And then 3-4 months later, little Ray Ray going to be with somebody else's daughter. Then you going to be all heartbroken and crying. Mama, I loved it, that little old Ray Ray. I loved him. And then as soon as he gone, now you're going to be writing in your book again, see? See, if you be writing in that book and learning about yourself, you wouldn't have never been even thinking about Ray Ray. You wouldn't even gave him your phone number. You would have been like, go on, boy. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing. Because you'll be so focused on you, your health, your weight, your hair, your teeth, your education, your career. You'll be so focused on that, you won't even see Ray Ray when he's standing over there. And he over there looking good, but you ain't even going to pay him no mind because you focus on you. You tell Ray Ray, worry about you, boy. Worry about you. Keep it stepping, Ray Ray. I'm focused on me. I'll holler at you 10 years from now. And that's what we got to do. We got to love on us. We can't love nobody else if we haven't even learned how to love on us. And some of this stuff be taking place at such an early age. These boys be trying to holler at you. You can't even focus on learning about you and learning to love you. And that's what we got to do. We have to learn how to love on us. And that's not being selfish. That's just learning about yourself. Because the more you learn about you, then that's how you can set goals and boundaries and aspirations, and you can get your career going, you can get your degree, you can do all that. It's gonna be plenty of time in your life to meet the right guy and all that. I probably sound like y'all mama or y'all auntie. Y'all be like, that's the same thing my mama was telling me. She told me to leave Ray Ray alone. Now here this lady is telling me the same thing. But I love Ray Ray. And you better love you more. Don't wait till you get my age and be talking something. I should have never got with no Ray Ray. Learn about you. Learn about yourself. Focus on you, your health, your wealth, all of that. Your aspirations, your goals. You deserve it. Learn how to love yourself. Because if you don't learn it when you're young, it's going to be a challenge when you get older. Because you'll know when you get old Because so many people be done walked over you, taking advantage of you, run amok with you, handled you in the wrong way, disrespected you, all that. So don't love to learn yourself later, after you done got with Ray Ray. Learn how to love yourself now when you're young. Because if you learn to love you and don't be focused on no guys, just focus on yourself. And if you're older and you already past that stage, that's one thing. But you can still do it now. But my point is, it's easier when you do it when you're young. Because I was talking about my young client. And she don't even realize people taking advantage of her. Like, don't let nobody download all of their stuff. They supposed to be downloading all that on Jesus. He said his burdens are light. But people are downloading all of this stuff on you. And now you all stressed out. Now you having hair loss from the stress and all that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Well, I hope you guys had a good Father's Day with your dads or with your husbands or spouses. Like I said, I just chill. My husband and I, we just relax all day. I woke up and cooked shrimp and grits. Because the plaza where my salon suite is, it's a fresh market in the plaza. So I went in there and got some fresh shrimp, and I cooked that. Because he asked for shrimp and grits. I had cooked shrimp, some of the shrimp yesterday. But then I had some left over, because whenever I buy them, I always get at least 2 pounds. And that's a pretty good amount. So I cooked that this morning, and for dinner, well, about like around 1 o'clock, my husband, he cooked me a big, I guess you can call it like a brunch or something, breakfast or whatever it was. It was later in the day, like 2 big omelets, and a bunch of potatoes, like new potatoes, like hash brown potatoes. And I just laid in the bed, watched movies, just relax. Because that's another thing, you guys, that I had to learn and start making myself do. And that's relax. Because I had this storefront salon for like 13 years. And that was stress like nothing but, like none other. Stress central. Not just having a storefront. It's just was stressful trying to manage hairstylists. Very stressful. My salon was extremely busy too. So now I've been without a team and a storefront for February. My lease expired February 2020, so a little over 2 years. So 2 years and 4 months. Yeah. So you guys, I think I done talked y'all out. I got a dentist appointment to get my teeth cleaned at 8:30 in the morning. So I'm going to get myself ready for that. Because every time I just went to them to have x-rays and stuff. Because of course I hadn't been to the dentist like most people since COVID. Because, going to the dentist, you got to take the mask off. They got to be all in your face, all in your mouth. So I always tell people in my lives that God give us one head of hair and one set of teeth. So I always tell people you got to take care of them both, because God give us one head of hair and one set of teeth. So, they had masks on and like the shield and all that. So I saw the hygienist because I got the full mouth x-ray. You know, you ain't been to the dentist in that amount of time in a couple of years. You want to go and get x-rays and make sure you don't have any cavities or any cavities about to start or anything. So that's what I had done. And so I'm just getting a cleaning in the morning at 8:30. And then I'm going to do a live tomorrow at 6 p.m. About entrepreneurship. So it don't have to be like a hair salon. It can be any type of business. Like a lot of people are a lot of people are quitting their jobs and opening businesses or starting businesses. And I don't think they're opening storefront businesses. I think they're doing online. Because to be honest, you can have a business and do it online. A lot of people have online businesses. It don't always have to be a storefront. And to be honest, we probably going to go back into a recession at some point. And when I opened my storefront salon in 2008, like 3 months after we opened, the recession started in 2008, the Great Recession, if you remember that. So my storefront business, my salon, it survived that recession. So to be honest, if we go into another recession, because my husband, he been wanting me to retire since we had the storefront. So if we go into another recession, I'm not sure if, that'll probably be my opportunity to just stop, push way back on the hair. Just push back some more, because I work all the time. I had a storefront. When I had my storefront, I had the storefront and 2 salon suites, and them salon suites ain't cheap. Like the one I'm in now, I'm paid $340 a week, $340 a week. So I had a storefront and 2 suites, like all at the same time when I had my team. A lot. So it's so much I want to do, though, in the way of helping other people, because I think a lot of times people be kind of naive about starting a business. You can just think in your head, or whatever, but that's what I thought too. I mean, I was in the industry since 1981, and I stopped doing hair for maybe in 87. And went into corporate a long time and went back to hair in 2006. But the hair industry is a whole different thing. It's totally different than corporate. And I worked in corporate a long time too. So I have the balance of them, the two of them. But you can't go into business, especially if you're trying to have a storefront. You can't go into it in a naive way, because you'll end up losing a lot of money. Because small business owners get taken advantage of a lot, and they end up losing a lot or losing their business or, all kind of stuff. A lot. Anytime you talk to any kind of business owner, any kind of small business owner, and I'm not just talking about a salon. It could be a barber shop, a nail shop, a cake bakery, a laundromat, like any kind of small business. Like once you start hiring people, like a laundromat, they probably don't really have to hire people like that, because those laundromats, a lot of times, they just kind of function on their own. But any type of small business where you got to hire people, you don't know how people going to come in and what they're going to do. And, in this hair industry, there's no background checks and stuff, like no criminal background checks. And usually you go in corporate, they got to check your credit. In the industry I was in, which was finance and accounting, They check your credit, they check your criminal history, they check your employment history, your education, all that. Like anytime you have a corporate job, they checking everything. You got a pen, a cup, all that. So the hair industry is totally different. They don't do none of that at all. Unless you're working in like a corporate hair salon, like a Great Clips or something where you're going to be an employee and actually get a W-2 form. Those salons may do that. Thanks for joining. Those salons, they may do that, but nope. So you guys, like I said, tomorrow at 6 p.m., I'm going to do a live. It's going to be on entrepreneurship. If you're interested in hearing anything about being a business owner, whether it's online business or whether you already have a business or whether you know someone who has a business and you want to let them know about it, it's going to be at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm just be talking about just a few brief things about business ownership.